Hey YouTube, wanted to talk a little bit about shoe trees. I grabbed a sample of a couple different ones. This is not representative of all the different types there are, but wanted to come across some things that might be a little different and might be different shoe to shoe, so that everybody sees some examples of what to look for and what to get and what not to get when they're thrifting. I've seen a lot of things on the boards about guys thrifting trees, and it's a great strategy. There's certainly a lot of trees out there, and you can get them for a lot cheaper than buying them new. What I wanted to do today, though, is talk a little bit about some of the different trees that I have and what's different about them and what's similar, so that people are going into this with open eyes. So we'll start off with the travel trees. The one all the way on the left here, this one, this is a travel tree. I'm gonna call this one vintage, which breaks my heart because I bought it new. And this is from our dear friends at Florsheim, back when Florsheim was in the United States. This was the for the shoes that were my first interview suit. They were not Florsheim Imperials, I promise you, because my parents did not kind of spend that kind of money on my shoes when I was in college. So, but this was a travel tree. This piece was thin and plastic because it weighed less. And so you can see kind of how it was set up, but this was definitely cedar. And if I sanded it down, it would return to these colors and be the same as the rest of them, smell good and everything else. As it is, it still absorbs just perfectly fine. The smell does not have anything to do with absorption. So I have obviously not kept them in shoes all the time, but you can see there's a pretty good crack in them, but good shoe trees. They lasted long and they work pretty well. Now, most of the time when I travel, I tend to go with these. These are more of a formed shape for shoe trees, and so you have to put them in, and then you have the wheel here to size them, but they are specifically my size. So if I've got a pair that's too tight or too small or too big, they may or may not fit. But these are 100% plastic. They're completely open down at the bottom, so there's a lot of room for the shoes to air out, and they stretch out the shoe really, really well. And candidly, the reason that I bring these instead of anything else is because they weigh next to nothing. And big problem when you bring a lot of shoes on trips is some of these shoe trees, especially big hunkers like that, weigh a lot. So you got to be real careful. So I'm not really worried about the weight from my bag. I don't usually check, but I got to carry it. So I'm concerned from that perspective. So those are the travel trees. I'm just going to move those off screen. Let's stay focused here. You'll see there's a few different types of trees, which I'll cover first. We'll have the whole toe tree. This is more of the shaped tree to the shoe. This is it's almost a lasted tree. You'll look at the bottom. It's got that really nice shape on the bottom. So this stretches out the top. It has room underneath to breathe. It's also a combination between what I'm going to call a finished tree, like this one here is finished. This is alderwood, but it's got a shellac or a coating on it that they do, which in my mind makes it less absorbent. I don't know that if that's true or not. This particular wood may just be like that, and I could be ignorant. That does happen. But this one is really nice. It's got this dark wood, but this is all exposed, and it does bring in the moisture really, really well. Now this is cedar. Now this is what they call a split toe, because the toe splits in two. And this is really good when you have wide feet, or you don't want to stretch out the toe. So when you put the thing in, it will catch on the sides and create your pressure points there. So it's a way of being able to do that. I have never seen an alden tree that was not like that. This is a church's tree. It's relatively lasted. This is a boot tree. It's called the Boss from Woodlore, which is part of Allen Edmonds. Real nice tree for your ankle boots. Not necessarily for chukkas. I usually use it for higher ones. This is a Carmina tree. This is one for the Forest Last or the Oscar Last. So that's kind of their general one. I have a pair of Rains, and they have a different tree, which is also formed on the bottom like the Trickers. Then I have this is the Amblier tree. This is lasted for that specific shoe. And I thought that this would be interesting to put side by side with the churches, because they are a very similar design, but you can see a couple things that are different, okay? So first, this part is a lot higher here, and it is a lot further back. That's because it's designed for the last of that particular shoe, and this shoe has a higher instep than this one. Also has a lower forefoot, excuse me. So that's another area. Now this exact design is pretty much used on all my Lokes and my churches. So I don't think it is a real lasted design. I think it's just a general design that's designed to keep the shoes fresh and stretch them out just a little bit, and not let them shrink. Let's keep in mind that shoe trees are not supposed to stretch your shoes. They're supposed to stop them from shrinking. And then you have these white ones. Now, why in the heck are they white? This is a Crockett & Jones, and this is made of beechwood. And these are all cedar. This is beech, and it's a different color, but it is very much the same type of tree and works really well. It also has the big carve out here on the bottom and a big hole, which is really for weight because this is heavy and can get really heavy, but they've made the hole and they've made the shape on the bottom so there's more room to breathe. The hole actually helps with the breathing as well. And of course it's beech, so it absorbs moisture the same as these others. So anyway, that's some ideas and thoughts on shoe trees. Hope that you find it helpful, and wishing everybody a fantastic evening. This is Wisconsin Shoe Guy signing out.